What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Shani, and welcome back to the Women's Palacè. Don't mind how I look. I just woke up and took my son to school, but I had to bring this word because I was thinking about it this morning. Your word. God has been speaking to me about your word, the things that come out of your mouth, right? And I was sitting here talking to God in my head about, it's certain people that I have been talking to, and they'll say one thing and then I'll find them doing something different, and that's how I know God speaks to anything, right? And he was just speaking like, don't let that be, and you need to watch people like this, because think about God is so committed to his word that he put his word above him, that he is so committed to his word that the whole mankind failed because he didn't go back on his word. And this is where God is teaching me as his children, your word needs to be, what they say, your word is bond, I guess. I don't know. But your word needs to be your law. Like, you cannot go back on your word, no matter how it makes you feel. Like, you don't think, God has made me realize, like, you don't think God felt the way when mankind fell. That probably hurt his heart. Like, but guess what? He's so committed to his word. He went another route to restore mankind, but he did not go back on his word. And that's where God is teaching me. I don't care about your emotions. You can love a person to death, but if you set, we're going to use boundaries, and that person crossed the boundaries, baby, you gotta go. Oh, okay, you crossed it. Now you gonna have to pay the consequences, or now whatever the case may be, right? You can always not improvise, but like God did. Okay, I got another plan, but I'm not going back on my word. I'm not gonna go back on my word, but I got another plan. But you gotta be able to stand on your word, because when you get to a point when your word is nothing, can't nobody take you serious. Like, you think about it. If you're always going back on your word, oh, I'm going to do this, and then you going back, oh, I'm going to leave him alone, and you still messing with him, and this and that, nobody's going to take you serious. Like, when you talk, your words is going to fall on, it's going to become like foolishness. Like, and that's something God is teaching me as I was doing my Queen Consciousness worksheet. Your word needs to be law. Like, when you speak, people need to know, oh, she or he not playing. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's how stern you need to be on your word, because your word is all you got. You sit there and you think about it, your word is all you have. And if you're such a person that's flip-flopping back and forth and double-minded and I'm gonna do this and you going back, nobody's gonna take you serious. Nobody's going to take you serious. They're going to think of you as a joke, because quite frankly, regardless, we live in a world that goes back so much that they don't think that they look like a fool, but they look like a fool. You can't make up your mind. Every time you speak, ain't nobody gonna take you serious. And this is how people play with people. They gonna play with you because they gonna look at you like you not serious, you not about nothing, you always talking, you never about action. All you do is talk. You go back on your word, and you don't want to be known as that person. You want to be able to, when you speak, oh, they know that's gonna happen. And even with your children, that's what God is making me realize. Because baby, I got it bad. Baby, you ever heard them parents, oh, I'm gonna whoop you and never whip you? That's me. Like, I talk to my son all day, and he be like, girl, you playing. And God is teaching me through that. When you speak, even with your children, your kids should know, oh, let me go get these dishes done, because I know mom not gonna play. Like, you should be able to speak once and people know you're not playing. Like, because you stand on your word regardless of what comes. Because I feel like a lot of times when we speak, it can really mean like, oh, okay, I mean what I say in the moment. But when certain circumstances arise, or certain things, okay, I'm gonna improvise, or I'm not, okay, no, you gotta stand on your word. And that's why God is making me realize, this is why you need to be few words. Let your words mean something when you speak. Don't always just be running off out the mouth, because now you may be saying stuff out of emotion or whatever the case may be, and then when the time comes, it's like, do I really want to do that? Well, maybe you shouldn't have been talking so much. Even it's a scripture, even a fool is considered wise when he quiet. I'm paraphrasing. But And so that's really what God has been on me about. My word, your word. Make sure your word is law when it comes out your mouth. And regardless of what comes, like I said, go back to God. The whole mankind failed because God did not go back on his word. And that's how hard and necessary you have to stand on your word. If that's what it takes, I'm going to lose relationships about my boundaries. I don't care who you are. I don't care about the place that you hold in my heart, because my word is law. You got to put your word before yourself. That's where we're going to have to get at, because that's how important your word is, because you do not want to be looked at as somebody that, oh, she just talking or he just talking. Like, when you think about it, people like this, because that's how I feel. Like, and this is how I know God was speaking, because I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, why is it that, I don't know if y'all ever had that one person that you would talk to and it's always, oh, this and that and this and that, and then you'll talk to them again and it's a whole different scenery. But see, me, I'm not the type of person that's gonna talk about it. Like, didn't you say this? That ain't my business. That's your life. Like, you feel me? I'm gonna live mine and you gonna live your life. I'm not about, oh, didn't you say this and now you back with it? I don't care. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna take note. Like, you flip flop. I can't deal with a flip flop, because that's showing me you got double mindedness, or you talking too much, or you just everywhere. You just everywhere. You feel what I'm saying? You just everywhere. How is it 1 minute is this and then the next minute is back to what you was talking about? Like, and that's just not me. And you need to watch out for those people. You definitely have to watch out for those people, and you need to watch out for yourself too, because I feel like as humans we can be like that, but once you come, it's all about consciousness. It's all about consciousness. You find yourself going back on your word, baby. That's why sometimes you need to be quiet. You gotta tell yourself, you know what, be quiet, because you can get in your emotions and say, I don't know if y'all ever was like that, and this is why you never make decisions out of emotions. Never do that, because you can be so excited or so mad or whatever the case may be. You can say something, and then when you calm down, you realize, oh, okay, it's not that bad. But your word, you already done spoke all those words. So are you gonna live up to those words? Or, and this is why we have to be able to be conscious about when that's why I'm learning. I have learned and learning. It's best to be silent when you're mad. It's best to be silent for your sake. Not for them people's sake, for your sake. Because you're going to eat the fruits of your words. You are going to have to stand on whatever it is that came out of your mouth. So it's best to be silent. So that's what I just wanted to speak about. Make sure your word is law. Don't be going back and forth on your word. Stand on your word regardless of what comes. Like I said, think about Jesus. Think about God. The whole mankind failed because he didn't go back on his word. And guess what? That's how your life should be. If everything gotta fall apart because you gotta stand on your word, let everything fall. You can rebuild it in another way, just how God did. God sent Jesus. He had a plan, but guess what? He didn't go back on his word. And that needs to be your life story. That needs to be your life story. I'm not going back on my word. But I would definitely, I'm not going back on my word. So when people speak of your name, or when people have that mind, like when your name or whatever, you as a person pop up in that person's mind, they'll be like, oh no, he or she don't play about what they talking about. Even with your kids. Mom said or dad said, wash the dishes. Let's go wash these dishes, because we know we don't wash these dishes, that's our behind. Okay? So yeah, make sure your word is law. Don't be going back and forth. Watch out for these people, and even watch out for yourself. So go out and be a light in this dark world.